No music today?
Hold on. I had to set something. All right.
This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started.
Hello and welcome once again, partners, to Super Connectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is that blue-eyed bomber from the Burger Pits.
Yeah! It's Phil Perich.
Yeehaw, indeed. Yeehaw, yes, because we're growing. I think this is I 24 on the mustache. I haven't waxed it today, so I haven't fluffed it, but I did work out on, when you have the ends, when you shave, if you shave in the shower like I do and you shave by feel, not by a mirror, you have to hold it and twist it and then get underneath it to make sure you don't damage the precious efforts made.
He's waxed his leg, people, but not his mustache.
No. Well, it's different when you wax your mustache than if you wax your mustache, because some people might wax their mustache by putting wax tape on their on their upper lip to rip out the hairs, whereas I just want to accentuate my mustache. Whereas others want the mustache removed.
This man's been working at home for a month, people.
I'm going crazy, Philip. All things in time. Yes, Tristan. Yeah, but you know what? Women don't like to cut their lips, so. Yeah, it's something women do. It's men don't usually wax their upper lips. No, I understand. Yes, it's a common misconception. So, anyway, manscaping and other grooming issues aside, Philip, there is a great disturbance within the force.
Yes,
Netflix is worth more than Emperor Mouse.
What? Yes.
Did you hear the audible gasp from Tristan? The Emperor Mouse is not pleased!
Wait, okay. Before you explain this to me, how can Netflix be worth more than Disney when, isn't Netflix in debt a ton?
Yes, and yet... Philip, let me tell you about something we used to call the dot-com bubble back in the 90s. You didn't actually have to make money to be worth $1 billion. Yeah. So here's what and also here's a quick tutorial on debt. Debt is only a problem if you can't afford it. Mark my word. Hey, this is the entire structure of every government on earth.
That's true.
And the idea that, it's the U.S. has $80 zillion in debt right now and is racking up more as we speak, but they can rack it up more because they say, well, that's the U.S. They're still a good investment, no matter how poorly managed the company may be right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's understood that is a temporary status, and it'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're seeing right now with Netflix and Disney is this double whammy where Disney is getting hammered for all of its overhead at a time when Netflix, which has basically no overhead, is racking in them subscribers. It is becoming an essential service in this day and age. And like I said, this is a quirk of math. Netflix isn't really worth more than Disney. But Disney is taking it on the shins right now. And Netflix looks better on paper for this brief period than Disney does.
Because Disney can't release anything to theaters, but Netflix can chug along as it always does.
Exactly. Netflix is not breaking its stride in any way. It can still produce. It can still do what it needs to do in the way that it does.
Yes.
And what this also highlights is certain flaws and problems with Disney's model. Because Netflix has one channel. One thing, and it's going to put its kids shows on there. It's going to put its, Murder After Dark shows on there too. They're not looking to invest $1 billion in one brand and then build another brand separate to build it up. And this got highlighted recently, very recently, with a little film from my youth. Perhaps you remember it too. You were younger than me. But did you ever see the film Splash?
Yes.
And for those of you for whom porn is seen as a right, not a privilege, this was many a young man's...
Hello, Hellfire.
I'm just saying, Lilith, she's never known a world without porn. That's fine.
Millennials.
Yes. But for many a young man, Daryl Hannah's behind was a glorious non-sexual reveal.
Yes.
Within PG parameters. This is one of those films that sort of created the PG-13 rating because they said, it's Daryl Hannah's butt. It's a pretty butt. It's not a bad enough butt to make it R.
Yeah.
So we're going to let the PG go in. Now, what's funny is that PG-13, you're allowed that on Disney.
Yeah.
But they still felt they had to very poorly censor Flash.
Yeah, they kind of made her hair longer in the edit. Yes.
Oh, it's not just that they made her hair longer, Philip.
But it looks fake. Yeah.
It looks bad. It looks like it doesn't actually look like her hair's longer. It looks like she's got just a hairy butt. It looks like she's got a merkin on her butt. And
yeah, I don't get that. It's just like anything else, maybe I could see, but it's like every human being has a butt. Why do you have to censor that?
Yeah, and it was a very weird, and I forget what they called those people who went back, who the Pope hired to paint like pants on the Sistine Chapel. No, it's a thing, man, and I believe that's where the term bowlerization comes from, where they would just go and paint over Renaissance naughty bits. Yeah, put on underwear. And it is ridiculous that Disney did it, and it makes what is a problem for Disney Plus. Because it says you can't get everything at Disney Plus. And if even stuff that you think you should be able to, it's kind of highlighting why you can't. And it devalues Disney Plus as a service.
But
now, granted,
do you think it evens it out kind of where it's like, yeah, you can't get everything on Disney Plus, but like parents and stuff can be like, you know what, I can set my kid in front of this and they can scroll through the thing however much they want and they're really not going to find anything that offensive.
Yeah, but Philip, that's what parental controls are for.
I know.
If this was 1980,
but for the lazy parents among us who don't want to take the time to do that, do you think maybe they're just like, oh, they don't have to think about it? Because remember, Philip, Charlie, a lot of people in this country do not want to think or put in effort.
I understand that as a premise, but I will say, Philip, there has to be a base level of parentage.
So
we have to either say, if you don't want your child looking at naked people, then you have to put on parental controls.
Yeah.
If you don't care, and of course this is one of the biggest issues with parental controls is, you put yourself in this position where it's like, okay, do I care if my child sees nudity or do I care if my child sees violence? And the systems of parental controls don't really let you pick what kind of PG-13 your kid gets to watch.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm going to tell you, that's $1 billion idea. The parental control that can say, "Oh, you're cool with butts? Cool. Your kid can see as many butts as he likes, but we're not going to let them see, someone getting eviscerated.
The AI has to be more adaptive. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they censor the butt, but then meanwhile, they don't censor, all those MCU movies have some violence in them. And, and if I'm wrong, don't they have a few S words in there? Are they
do
that?
But Scarlett Johansson's butt
what we're talking about,
is fully clothed.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, granted, we see a lot of those butts, those MCU butts, including America's butt.
Yeah, that's right.
America's butt. Because, hey, we don't discriminate in this country. A good butt is a good butt. But it is America's butt, Tristan. Because we don't want to use the actual word they used in the show, in the movie that we're referencing when we say America's butt, because that would be a troublesome word. And it creates this weird thing when they're painting a merkin on Daryl Hannah's butt. They're basically saying, we are going to censor your shows. We're not going to give you what you paid for. Because they didn't have to put Splash on Disney Plus. They could have thrown it over on Hulu. That's fine.
Yeah.
But they made the choice to put it on Disney Plus and then alter it, saying, we're not actually going to give you Disney Plus. It hurts their brand. It hurts their company, and then highlights why a company like Netflix, and here's the thing about Netflix. Netflix, it's kind of in that Blockbuster era where they're not Tubi. They're not going to go full on,
sex.
Yeah, bikini girls on the moon kind of thing.
Yeah, not your Cinemax After Dark. Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to put their limitations on it.
Yeah.
But they don't get known as a place that has limitations. They're just known. Oh, that's just not a film they do. You can see some butts, you can see some boobs, you can see lots of blood and a bunch of swear words. But that they have a line that gets drawn. It's not intrinsic to their branding. That Disney is drawing that line and then censoring their own films. It's bad for Disney, and this is one of the reasons why Netflix winds up being worth more than Disney right now.
Yeah. I thought that was the whole plan from the beginning. It's like, instead of censoring anything they even would consider censoring, they were just going to put on Hulu.
Well, the problem is that they build it as a one-stop shop. And that's the problem for Disney Plus.
But do they though? Because I mean, they do offer those packages where you get Disney Plus and Hulu and what is it, ESPN or whatever for a certain price.
But then you have to switch apps, which is not a good business model. Then so you have to switch apps.
Again, Charlie, lazy. What are you talking about? Lazy people? Hey, we need to draw the line somewhere.
But again, since you have lazy people who don't want to switch an app, and here's the thing: the lazier you are, the more offended you're going to be about the merkin on Daryl Hannah's butt. That's the thing. Is like lazy people get upset very easily. That's why they're lazy, because they don't want to put on a parental control upon their thing to say, okay, please do not let my child see Daryl Hannah's butt. But Daryl Hannah's butt is an important aspect of the film. It really is. It really is. That, even though you can tell the story without Daryl Hannah's butt, the artistic oeuvre of Splash really demands Daryl Hannah's butt, which really wasn't even that much of a butt in the first place. Yeah. It was at a distance. It was a little blurry. We knew it was butt. We didn't even know if it was technically Daryl Hannah's butt. I mean, this was before everyone knew about body doubles. But the fact of the matter is that could have very easily been Daryl Hannah's body double butt.
Charlie Esser draws the lines at Daryl Hannah's butt, people. No more. No more something.
Well, I draw a line about drawing lines on top of Daryl Hannah's butt. Because that's what Disney did. They drew a line on Daryl Hannah's butt. And literally, yes, Tristan, the correct use of the term literally. And that was problematic for me.
I see that homeschool is working out.
my kids are geniuses now. They were geniuses before, but now.
But now they get the 24/7 Charlie Esser.
You were always geniuses. That's why I always. Brother was not had in the 99th percentile. Anyway, so moving right along, this highlights what is AT&T, AOL, Time Warner's response to Disney Plus, which is HBO Max, which is essentially Disney Plus Dark. And that is a good thing in its own way, but it's also creating a new brand for HBO Max that I think may be the exact opposite of Disney Plus and may wind up hurting AT&T, AOL, Time Warner. They should just call themselves AOL. It's just the best name for all the groups.
Yeah, but do you think AOL sounds kind of like, at this point, I don't know how to put old-fashioned maybe? Because
like the kids still didn't even know what AOL was.
I know.
And you know what? Now it's hipster. It's old school. It's unironic.
It's old, all right.
But yeah. But AT&T, AOL, Time Warner, they have put themselves in this position to have HBO Max. Now, for those of you who remember the Marvel line of Max books, what were the Max books known for, Philip?
Sex and violence.
Sex and violence. That is correct. And actually, a lot more violence than sex, in my opinion, because again, it's this whole thing about, to me, I'm desensitized to violence. And so I can't tell the difference between the PG cut and the R cut of Deadpool, except when they get to language. Because really, it's like, oh, F-bomb. That's how I know it's the R cut. But if it's the PG cut, I wouldn't know.
Well,
Lilith, there's less blood in that scene.
Lilith, is that you?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. Me and Lilith, we are twin souls,
Yeah, if you just hate commercials as much as her and Maz, man.
Well, see, I'm older than them. See? But that's why her and Maz can be best friends, because they're of the same generational gap of we don't believe in renting our minds to gods and governments and capitalism. But yeah, but HBO Max is billing itself as HBO Max, which makes this problem for them because they're going to say, oh yeah, and also you can watch Sesame Street, which is like, I don't want my kid watching Sesame Street on HBO Max because they can go watch it on HBO Go. But it also then creates this question, well, is there anything on HBO Max that I'm going to run over there for? Of the things that they've trying to tempt us with right now is Justice League Dark, which is J.J. Abrams, because he's still a name. People like him. Lens flares and all. Flare up those lenses, Philip. Flare them. He's doing Justice League Dark, which I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. Because now, here's what I'm going to tell you. The current run of Justice League Dark, I love it.
Yes, comic, yes.
It is the only DC book I read right now. But it has one of its central characters as Wonder Woman. Prior to this, the central leader of Justice League Dark was the Batman. And it raised, if I recall correctly, Batman starts Justice League Dark, the original Justice League Dark, correct?
I don't know. I wasn't reading much of it. He might have started it, but I don't think he was like a really big member. Yeah, I just I remember like Constantine, Swamp Thing. Was it Deadman?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was, but it was like one of them makes it the Justice League. So I thought it was like Batman, a la Reed Richards, when he hired Agatha Harkness to be Franklin's nanny, showed up and said, "You know what? I don't know magic. My villains don't know magic except for Dr. Doom, but that's fine. From what I understand, he's kind of a dilettante when it comes to magic. In fact, I'm sure that's what Agatha Harkness said in the interview. He's like, "Oh, Doom? Yeah, my magic can beat Doom's magic. Don't worry your pretty little head there, Reedy. Yes, I'm not afraid of Doom's magic.
Doom bought himself
spooky magic.
Doom bought himself some of that dollar store magic.
Yeah, he's a dilettante. It's like he's never really studied. He's smart, but magic isn't just about smarts. It's about how you approach the energies of magic. But anyway, that's a whole bag of hammers. But yeah, but as I understood it, the whole idea was Batman says, "Oh, there are monsters out there, and we need someone that can handle monsters who are magical. That's not me." And says, "So who knows magic?" They go, "Well, Constantine and Swamp Thing and Zatanna."
Yep.
And, those guys. Dr. Fate, Magic Superman. And they do a thing. But the thing is do you have it be founded by Dr. Fate? Or do you bring in a Batman or a Wonder Woman into it? And then you open up that question. Okay, so who's a Batman? Who's a Wonder Woman? Are we going to reference our larger DCEU? Do we try to build something, or do we just ignore that entire aspect of the story?
I don't know if it would make sense, but you know who they could, if you want like a founding Justice League member to start this whole thing. You know what else is coming to HBO Max? Green Lantern series. Green Lantern series.
That is true. Now, if you want to have a Hal Jordan, or do you go Alan Scott?
Ooh, well, I think
let's get some Alan Scott in there.
They said we're getting more than one Green Lantern, so I mean, there could possibly be close, so I don't know, but yeah.
Well, I'm assuming that we're going to get Alan Scott and Stargirl.
Maybe.
Or it's called Stargirl, right?
Yes, Stargirl. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Disney movie, Charlie. Remember Stargirl? Yeah.
No, I know, but for some reason I thought someone was calling it Starlight. I don't know that.
Was it?
I don't know.
Wasn't that the girl from The Boys?
I don't. Yeah, actually, that is the girl from The Boys too. Okay. Anyway, so maybe it was maybe that was the reference they were making in it. But anyway, so I think we'll get an Alan Scott. I really want more Alan Scott. I don't know why I like this character so much. I've never read any of his books. I just like the cape. I like the bright red cape.
Charlie likes a good cape.
I like a good cape. I love capes, especially if you can actually fly. But I do love capes.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me. If I could wear a cape, I'd be rocking that cloak. A cloak. I'm sorry, my cloak.
There's not a lot of capes left too. It's like Batman, Superman, Alan Scott, Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the more modern you get, instead of a cape, you start getting into like trench coats, like Constantine.
Yeah. Well, the problem with and of course, as we've said, the whole issue with capes is how you show movement in a comic.
Yes.
Same reason same reason why Captain America has the Cavalier boots.
Mm.
Because you can show the shift in weight and the design of a character in movement. You don't need to do that in TVs and movies, so you don't design that with that in mind as much. You just, draw the naked man punching and then color him in to show that skin tight latex.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, ain't spandex no more, kids. Nowadays, it's pure latex. Just paint on. How do you think those bat poles dress them so fast?
Whoa.
Crazy fan theory. Crazy fan theory.
That's what we're here for.
Did Wayne Tech dressing poles exist outside of the Batcave? Like, was this something that existed in most people's two-story homes? Like, did Commissioner Gordon every morning walk out of bed, go to his dressing pole, and then he'd come in his suit? Same with Police Commissioner O'Hara, and they could reset it for different outfits, and it would just dress you in the morning?
I don't know. That's a good question, old chum.
Because that would be brilliant. That would be a brilliant thing. It's like, oh, no. That wasn't a weird technology. No, of course, that's totally a commercial technology that Wayne... Why do you think Wayne Tech made so much money? closets, just like the guy on Modern Family.
Yeah.
The idea that you just jump down a pole in your closet, it dresses you, and then you're set for your day. And Batgirl didn't have one because she lived in an apartment.
Yes.
And you have to be in a 2-story house to use those. That's why she had to actually get dressed into her costume. Just so you know, I did think it through. But
plus, I mean, he wasn't a millionaire. Bruce Wayne was a millionaire.
Well, yeah, but still, I think that you could sell that. I mean, there's other millionaires in Gotham.
Yeah.
There's others, like, you know, and like I said, the commissioner of Gotham probably makes enough, probably lives in a 2-story home, probably can afford a Wayne Tech dressing pool. And I think that's sort of like one of those aspirational purchases in that universe, the Wayne Tech dressing pool. Oh, that's what they should have had on Powerless. That would have been just so brilliant had they thought of that. Say, it's a great idea. It's a pole. You jump down. So imagine Ron Funches saying that. And when you get to the bottom of the pole, you're in your outfit for the day. Tell me that's not a perfect scene. If they ever make Powerless the comic and have Ron Funches' character in there, have him pitch that. And I'll know you listened to this episode. Okay. What were we talking about before we got onto bat poles and Wayne Tech dressing poles? Justice League Dark. That's right. Because that's a natural transition. That's a good drop, Phil. Make sure you note it. So within that idea of creating this Justice League Dark, we're going to get our Dark Universe. We're going to get some kind of Justice League member that's probably going to found it. And we're going to bring in a Constantine. Which opens up the obvious question, do we get Constantine for it?
Yeah. And
will Lilith watch it if they recast Constantine?
I don't know if they're going to recast. I mean, right now, what's his face? He's like the Kevin Conroy of Constantine. It's like they get him for live action, they get him for the animated stuff.
Yeah, but he is good at the character.
Matt Ryan. Yes.
Yeah, Matt Ryan. He is like Adam West level good. You know, if like 20 years from now, if they make a Constantine film, he'll be like, they didn't even ask me. You know, so yeah. I mean, to me, that's a big question. Of course, if you have Swamp Thing in it, do you bring in the guy that was just Swamp Thing? Do you tie into that universe? And for what it's worth, there's an argument to be made that, yeah, you should. Unless that guy was really bad at Swamp Thing, I don't know.
And really, all you need is his voice. I mean, you could always have somebody else in the suit, in the Swamp Thing suit. All you need is the voice, even if you still want to do the same guy.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, was it the same guy in the suit who's doing the voice? Or?
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Either way.
Yeah, and then again, within that entire concept, it's this idea of, was he any good at it?
Well, and two, he might still be under contract too, even though they canceled the thing. I mean, they might still have.
Just because you're under contract doesn't mean. Ask Billy D. Williams about being under contract and whether or not you get to do the job.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy probably wanted more than one season. They might be like, oh yeah, hey, come over to Justice League Dark. Okay.
Well, yeah, it'll be good unless he's bad at the job. That's what I'm asking, is because that's the question. Was he bad at his job?
No, he seemed fine to me.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I've always heard good things. It was like a weird. That's like one of these like Serenity things where it's like, no, everyone loved it.
Yeah.
No, they just canceled it.
I heard a lot of good. Yeah, I heard positive about it. Yeah, I thought it.
Yeah, I heard nothing bad about it, but we canceled it anyway. So, what are you gonna do? So yeah, so we got our Swamp Thing, we got our Constantine, and of course, because of many worlds theory, they don't have to necessarily be the Legends of Tomorrow Constantine or the DC Universe Swamp Thing, Yeah. Actually, who I'd love to see in it? I'd love to see Nightwing founding it.
Oh,
you know what? Brilliant pitch, J.J. Abrams. I give this to you for free. Nightwing just had to deal with a bunch of monsters and stuff because of Raven.
Oh.
Who is his friend, but is also way, way overpowered. Kind of like someone else who has a super friend who's also super, super powered, and that worries him. And maybe Nightwing says, maybe
say that name.
The Justice League should have some sort of group that handles people like Raven. Not her specifically, because we're friends, me and Raven.
Supernatural Black Ops.
Yeah, totally for Raven. She's totally going to kill us all. Sorry, totally going to kill us all. So the mic actually picks it up. So
on your page.
There you go. That's kind of brilliant. They bring in Constantine. They bring in a Swamp Thing. Maybe Solomon Grundy, because at that point they reveal that he is actually the core of life and death in the DC universe.
They could finally satisfy you and give you a Lou Ferrigno Solomon Grundy.
Oh my gosh, Lou Ferrigno as Solomon Grundy.
Charlie's been championing that for the longest time.
He's perfect for the job. He's still in good shape. He's older than me, and he looks way better than me. So, and I'm sure he could say, Solomon Grundy hates super friends. I'm sure he could say that, and he'd give that character depth. Trust me. He could say, I don't like this. He's a very subtle actor.
Yeah. But, I mean, again, except for the Matt Ryan Constantine, I don't know if they would bring in like same actors or anything, because thanks to Crisis on Infinite Earths, they were saying like Titans is on a different Earth than Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing is on a different Earth. All those shows were on different Earths. So it's like,
well, although, and again, it's
so they can do whatever they want.
That is the many worlds issue. Is that yes, Titans is on a different world from Doom Patrol, but there is a Doom Patrol in the Titans Earth.
Yes. So I'm saying, they can mix that however they want.
So in one world, the chief is Hispanic. In another world, he's British. Because that's how parallel universes work. They're based on American racism.
Oh, jeez.
That's how it is. That's why you get in some worlds, Superman is black. In others, he is white. And in a third, he's a Chinese. So that's how alternate universes work in the I don't make up the rules for the DC universe, Philip. DC people do that. And really right now, tell me that is not 100% true. It's like, no, in this universe, Batman's a pirate.
Arr!
Arg! For stream ahead, he says. Batman Pirate World is ready for action. So they're going to have all that kind of stuff there. And that's great and that's interesting. It opens a lot of questions. It feeds into fan theories. But again, I wonder the HBO Max branding, if that's going to be the equal and opposite problem of the Disney Plus branding. And does that just make Netflix grow more powerful still? Because Netflix isn't branded to be... Netflix is not your friend. Netflix is not your babysitter. Netflix is just Netflix. If you want to set up a babysitter account, you can do that. You can set up a kids account with kids limitations on Netflix. I know, I had it. Had 3 of them at one point. And that's cool in its own way. Disney Plus says, no, why don't you go to Hulu to watch that? But then I'm going to put a show that you want on Disney Plus, but I'm going to make it so that it's acceptable. It's like, then you're defeating your own purpose. Instead just say, oh, would you like to watch Splash? Why don't you connect to Hulu? In a way that, brilliantly enough, Amazon Prime does.
Yes.
Amazon Prime just says, oh, you want to watch this movie? Great. Here's all the places you can watch it. Here's where you can watch it for free with commercials. Here's where you can watch it because you already have the subscription. Here's where you could pay extra money for it.
Yep.
Ta-da! Lots of options.
That's why I have my CBS All Access subscription through Amazon Prime, yeah.
And if you like Bob Hart's Abishola, which I do, literally, that's what I watch there. I'm just catching up on all the old Bob Hart's Abishola. There's literally nothing there for me. I mean, Picard is nice. I enjoy it, but it's...
Discovery is good. It's better than I thought it was.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. You know what my problem with all the Star Trek stuff is?
What?
It's all going to cycle on to Heroes and Icons eventually.
Yeah, in 20 years.
Well, Hopefully I make it. And I can say, oh yeah, I heard this was good. Phil told me to watch this. God rest his soul.
I mean, the older series, yeah, they play them on different channels, but do you think they're ever going to let like Discovery or Picard go to like free TV?
Yeah.
You think?
Everything makes it to free TV eventually, assuming free TV still exists.
Yeah, it used to, but in the age of streaming, are those streaming platforms going to let stuff go?
Here's the thing. As digital television evolves, you can do more and more with less bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that you will always have some kind of broadcast television.
Yes.
Because it's a kind of communication, this idea of free airwave communication, that actually having that be something that exists
yes,
is actually very cost effective for both the government and the companies that own that bandwidth. So, for all the ideas of, satellite radio, satellite television, satellite whatever, it's great and it has its place, but I don't think it's ever going to fully replace terrestrial broadcasts. Because for what it's worth, right now, terrestrial broadcasts, I'm watching it. People are still watching it. They do enough to have at least like 6 channels that basically rotate the same 8 shows. So, not to mention all the channels that are now in completely weird languages that I don't speak.
No.
Like, it's like, oh, that's not Spanish. I don't think it's Korean. What language is that? Is that Russian? Could be Russian. But that's the glory of living in our modern world. Anyway, final note I do want to talk about a little bit is, Phil, what do I always say at the end of the show about tweeting and what I might one day live tweet?
Follow me on Twitter as I live tweet once it comes back. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They promised. And you know what? Promise fulfilled. End of May.
It's coming.
Our intrepid heroes from the 4th dimension, because they're 4-dimensional now, are coming back. And this is a big deal. This is a very big deal.
The final season. Anything can happen.
Well, not just that it's the final season, Philip. It's the final time travel season.
Yes.
And one thing that has been established is the idea of alternate timelines. And the fact that Steve Rogers going back in time to strip Peggy Carter. Yes, I saw the mouse. He is cute, but he'll be dead soon. Well, what do you want from me? He's a mouse.
Charlie Esser takeover of Disney.
Well, maybe if he leaves the house, then he doesn't have to die. But anyway,
Prepare to die.
We have a small rodent infestation. It happens. City life. And actually, really, even rural life, because mice are actually rural animals.
Yeah.
The only reason why I have mice is because I live next to a park. If it was a city problem, it'd be a rat.
You would think all the animals want to be outside, since no people are outside at this point.
They live off of human food.
That's true.
It's actually like the worst time to be an animal right now. It's like, wait, it's like seagulls right now. They're like, where are the French fries? Where are the French fries? How will we survive? How will I feed my children without the French fries? Anyway, long story short, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back. Sosa, Agent not Steve Rogers is coming back. Agent Guy Peggy Carter dated after Steve Rogers is back.
Yeah.
But as was suggested, that actually this may predate when she meets Peggy Carter.
Yeah.
Because when we last saw them, it's in the 20s. Now, of course, they're time travelers, so do they have to stay in the 20s? No. And you immediately open up this portal, this world, where we could start introducing things from Marvel, from the MCU's past, that kind of got glossed over when people didn't know about it. Like, I don't know, here's some gentleman by the name of Richards.
Mm-hmm.
maybe not Reed, but maybe they meet a Nathaniel Richards. Maybe they meet Nate Richards, friend of Howard Stark's. So, time travel, eh? What a unique concept. I wonder what I could do with that. He had this kind of beard too. Real Nathaniel Richards. Not the fake Nathaniel Richards we got years later. With the full beard.
Wait a minute. Didn't Kang originally come from like an alternate timeline, like an alternate future?
Yes, and he's also named Nathaniel Richards. So,
yeah, but no. Oh, if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like an alternate timeline at this point, what if they travel to the 40th century at this point, and this Nathaniel Richards travels back and travels back to the main MCU?
Oh, and then meets
Kang.
whoever Reed Richards' wife is. Or not Reed Richards' mother is. Yes, I know who Reed Richards' wife is. How do I not know anything? You know, the only thing I know about Reed Richards' mother, he doesn't remember what her eyes look like.
I don't remember him even discussing his mother a lot. It's usually
no, because this is from the Byrne era, when some aliens had drained Reed Richards' brain.
Oh yes,
and then he got all of his memories put back, and it was, I want to say it was just before the Psycho Man. It was just before. No, that's right. It was just after Malice, or after Susan Richards basically does something to Psycho Man to get revenge for his actions on her. Reed Richards is talking to her and says, you know, there's parts of my brain that are my memory that are missing. And when it's like, I remember my mom, I remember her perfectly, except now I can't remember what her eyes were. So if I'm remembering that correctly, I believe that's where that happens. In the party afterwards, after Susan basically tortures the Psycho Man, they all decide to have a party because it's the Fantastic Four, and that's what they do. Torture, murder. No, let's party. You know what everyone should be listening to right now?
What?
The Marvels podcast on Stitcher.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that is so good. And not just because their Peter sounds a lot like the current Peter. It's not him, but man, that kid's voice, it's like, oh, wow, that sounds just like Tom Holland. But it's like a little bit deeper because it's a little bit more of a mature Peter. But still, and, you know, J.K. Simmons, I say, is in it. They haven't credited him yet, but I've heard he's in it as J. And you hear J. Jonah Jameson in it, and they never say who's playing J. Jonah Jameson. So
I'm here for Peter.
And as I say, the most interesting thing about it is that Phil Urich is played by Method Man.
Oh,
so
really?
Yes. So that is cool. It's really a great series. I highly recommend you listen to it. It just started. They just basically did the coming of Galactus and the great cover-up that charlatan Reed Richards just did a hologram to fool us all into thinking that we were under attack, and people died from that ludicrous hologram. Obviously, who would have thought a big purple giant would have come to eat the world?
It looks like there's 5 episodes, maybe.
So far, yeah. There's several. I don't know how long it is. I don't know if it's as long as Wolverine was.
They're all like 20. They're all 20-some minutes. Yeah, I'm subscribing right now.
Yeah. It is really good. It is really well acted. It is, and really gives you. It really creates a radio drama for the Fantastic Four, for this story that really speaks to you. And it's cool because it's sort of like it exists in this world of, oh yeah, this is the Marvel Universe and mutants are a thing, but it doesn't even come up because, you know, there's so many other stories going on. So yes, Stitcher is great. But yes, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back. There was like, oh, look at the latest poster. See how the shield is all red, white, and blue? Is Cap, time-traveling Cap, going to be a part of the story? No, time-traveling Cap is not part of the story.
You said that maybe 2 seconds at the end of the last episode.
Well, yeah, that would be cool. And it would be really great if they actually sort of explained the whole fractured timeline thing there. I say, well, no. Anything you do now. And what actually would be cool is he comes in on Peggy and Steve dancing, and Steve is like, no, I can't make any changes to the timeline. It's like, and Fitz is like, you came back in time. You're dancing with your ex-girlfriend. This timeline is shot. You can do whatever you want. It's not going to affect anything in the future.
Oh, it would be great if they do find out they're in an alternate timeline from the main MCU now. At the end of the season, what if they find a way back to the main timeline so that way they can start showing up in movies after the show's over?
Oh yeah, well I'm sure. I mean, that seems like the practical idea.
Yeah,
it's like it's like, and especially the idea that well, I think what you might get is you might get Fitz and Simmons founding the Time Variance Authority.
Oh,
sort of S.H.I.E.L.D. but for time travel.
Yes.
So I think that's where they're going with that, and then that's going to lead into Loki and everything else, and Multiverse of Madness is coming, so that's good. Sam Raimi is apparently now officially directing, so yay. And Krasinski is talking to Marvel for reasons. I don't know why they want to talk to that guy. But anyway, Philip, don't we have another show to do?
Yes, with Miss Little Hellfire.
Miss Little Hellfire, let's find out what she thinks about the one true Constantine. In the meantime, Philip, if you would like to talk to you, how could they go about doing that?
Well, if you'd like to talk to me, you can always email me the old-fashioned way at nightwingpdp@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at nightwingpdp when there's things to live tweet. And get a hold of us, capesandlunatics @gmail.com. Call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Follow us on social media and support the sponsors. Tweaked Audio, Hunt a Killer, Pod Life the book, now in digital and paperback, and use that Southgate Media Group link for Amazon. It's right down there in the show notes.
Right there in the show notes. Scroll down, do that. Yes, and
help support the network and Master Doom.
Go back and look at my history, and you will find.
Let's help him become a Dr. Doom one day.
More than he is.
I get so much right.
He gets things right. Hey, you know what?
So much more often than I'm wrong.
And here's what I'll say. He probably is, because some of us are just a little bit more imaginative of what Marvel could be, not with what it is. Okay. I challenge Master Doom every day. I've got my Tuner D Century mustache going. I'm ready to fight. And anyway, Marcus of Queensberry rules. Anyway, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our mothers and fathers are Mars and Paz, if you will. Yes, Maz and Paz. Oh, that would have been a great name for our show if we had not settled on.
Full
stream ahead. Yes. That's okay. It happens. Write to me in the old-fashioned email way at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming back in May. At Charlie Esser, that's CHARLIE. Yes, look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing.
See, that's my vocal range. It's not a good range, but I have it. Thank you, Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for connecting with us this week. Come on back next and super connect with us again. Good night.
Good night.
I wanted to do all the endorsements, Phil.
I'm sorry. I didn't. You could have.
No, you know what? You always do them. I was thinking this was the other show, so I was going to do a whole thing about scrolling down to find the leak.
Yeah, you've been doing them good on Full Stream Ahead. Yeah, no, if you ever want to do.
I know. Well, because Rob had just said, hey, you're going to buy Amazon stuff anyway. Why not come here? go through us. That's okay. Oh, have to talk Black Widow toys.
Oh, yeah.